If you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually come to believe it. The lie can be maintained only for such time as the state can shield the people from the political, economic, and or military consequences of the lie. For the truth is the mortal enemy of the lie, and thus, by extension, the truth is the greatest enemy of the state.
Okay, in our country, we have what's something going on, a propaganda technique that's called grosse luga. But the grosse luga means the big lie, and I'm going to show it to you. It's a Hitler propaganda technique, and what you do is you make a lie that's so colossal, so crazy, that the population knows that no one would even think to tell a lie this big unless it were true. And then, so first thing, it's called the big lie. It's grosse luga, big lie. It's got to be a big one. And then what you do is you pound that same lie over and over, and you repeat it over and over and over and over and over until it becomes the truth in the minds of the people that are hearing the lie.
So we are exposing really the true enemy, because you have people saying, well, looking too much into the satanic, it's not Christian. Well, it's Christian to prove things, and that's what we do. We are proving things, and to prove, they're only going to believe by seeing the people that are, people that are falling into the snare of Jonathan Flick. They will only they only consider what we are saying only if they can see proof visible. So that's what we're giving them. For example, V for victory. They are using that. Where it's coming from. We are having to go into searching into the satanic stuff to prove where it's coming from.
The symbology for the enemy is this. Avi, do you know, have y'all ever heard of the goddess Victoria? Go look at your Nike clothing. Nike is the goddess Victoria. Nike. Victoria. It's a goddess of victory.
It's from German, back to Germany, back to Germany. When there are the same thing, repeating, coming back always to the same source, then you can bet that it's the source from where it's coming from has to do with the intention of the person that is using it. So if the stuff from Jonathan Clegg is coming from Germany, then his intention has to do with the spirit that goes with it, not saying that all Germany is evil, but specifically insisting that his name was coming from Germany, and it adds significance because also it was from Germany. Then you can bet that the intention is linked to where it's coming from, the source.
So I look down here and I see military, a German military term for the emergency fighter program. Again, movement. Finnish volunteers trained in Germany as Jaegers during World War I. A short-lived German military football club active during World War II. What was I reading, about Frankfurt? The March 2008 about the school that was opened up. It was FC football is where I found that. And it was in Frankfurt.
German military football club. So, German military football club. Military, you know, the force. The force to put it in place. Military. German, the spirit, you know, of Hitler, Holocaust, of the Jews, and also, you know, entertainment to lure people mind into the message idea that they want to use to trick how they think.
Doing is praying to Roman gods that they've given a name of a saint to. That's all they're doing. Roman Catholic Church. It's really ancient Rome and all their pagan gods.
Well, hello, Kelly. Now, I was watching one of Nolan's videos where he was describing what Kleck was wearing, and then he was comparing it to the Ku Klux Klan. And he was pointing out that Kleck was wearing all white, and that he had a pointed hat, and then he pointed to the logo on Kleck's shirt, and said that that would have been where the cross would be if it was on the KKK robe. Well, I contend that Kleck is wearing the cross emblem. Only like with everything else he does, it's all covert. And this is why I think that way.
So, Ku Klux Klan, you see how they look? There is a X, or looking like a cross, with all white, head to toe, with a bonnet, spiky at the top. You see this? These are the features of Ku Klux Klan. Looking at this one, Ku Klux Klan, the thing about the cross, the point here, sunglasses there, this would be where there was the cross of the Ku Klux Klan, white head to toe, and the bonnet, spiky at the top. Is looking like Ku Klux Klan. when you compare this with that, you see white head to toe with the megaphone in red. White head to toe, Ku Klux Klan, okay, false prophet, looking like this, looking like that.
Do you know, have y'all ever heard of the goddess Victoria? Go look at your Nike clothing. Go look at your Nike clothing. Go look at your Nike clothing. Nike is the goddess Victoria. Nike. Victoria. It's the goddess of victory.
And there you have it. Kleck is wearing the Nike logo on his shirt, right where the cross on the KKK outfit would go. And who's Nike? None other than Victoria, the goddess of victory, the one he claps to. And what do we see her holding in her hand? We see her with the staff that at the very top has the same cross that we see on the KKK robes. So in a nutshell, and as far as I'm concerned, Jonathan Kleck is dressed in the same apparel as the KKK. And the cross is there. It's only that it's hidden in plain sight so that nobody will ever recognize it. It's the Nike logo. That's your cross. That's what symbolizes your cross. So that was my 2 cents worth on this. So what do you think, Kelly? Does it fit?
Bless you, Gene. And Jonathan Nolan, thank you. Bless you in Jesus' name for picking this up. Okay, I'm going to leave that an open question, and I'm going to leave that for a lot of other people to discern as we go along. Now, I've been away for a while, and I've been very, very busy trying to better everything here so that I can give a little bit more of a foundation for those that, are just, going through, just passing through, that I could give you a visual a little bit, to where I'm going with things for understanding. Okay. So here, I've got about, like I said, about, I don't know, 10, 13 sheets, and I did 10 of them all at the same time, and they're all different sheets, but they were all at the same time. I was just going crazy. I was learning how to do slideshows. I was learning how to edit. I was learning so many things as I was just receiving steady. So I'm really excited to share with you now what I've done. I hope you find it worthy. I do. I hope that this could be used as a foundation for some, to hold on to, something to hold on to, something to believe in. So again, I'm just, there's a lot of these pages. So what I'm going to say is I'm not going to be talking and going into detail with all of them. I'm just going to probably put it into a slideshow and give out maybe 3 or 4 at a time, or it depends, right? So again, here I just want to say, the question that you asked, does it fit? Well, let's take a look and let's see what I just found. And there's a lot of new things here that I found. Okay, so I'm quite surprised. Okay. So you've got, here he is, Jonathan. He's smiling. He's got Nike Pro, and then we have all of the brands, these different brands, different companies, okay, and they're supporting gods and goddesses. And again, here, I wanted to bring over your attention to this here. Nike is a Greek goddess. Nike was a goddess who personified victory in any field, including art, music, war, and athletes. She was the one that would crown. So I was like, okay, this is exactly where we need to be, right? Because we're talking about merchandise, we're talking about gods and goddesses, companies, and it's important to understand that companies are referred to as people. Okay, they're referred to as people. And these people worship these gods and goddesses. Okay, so let me just read a few things here. Okay, so Jagar. Okay, you saw me underline that. So we have Jagar, which is German, hunter, huntsman. Okay, so it's a person that's attending a person of rank or wealth and wearing hunter's costumes. I'm always, looking at Jonathan, and he's always wearing these costumes, and it's camouflage or whatever the case. Okay, he even, like, with the square on his forehead, he turns this hat around. It's really crazy. Okay, and then, you talk about the rank or wealth, or, and I don't know what to say as far as he was in the military, I believe, and he was in the Air Force, and he has a hat every once in a while that he'll put on concerning the Air Force. So I'm not, with rank, I have no idea. So here, again, we are talking about the birds. It says here, any of several large dark colored birds. Well, of course, what you're looking at here with Jesus, his Jesus there with all these black birds around him, that's what I used to see all the time around him anyway. You might see the odd white one pop up, but there's that one red one, but again, the northern seas that are related to the skua are strong fighters or flyers and tend to harass weaker birds until they drop or disgorge their prey. Well, when I was reading that, it was automatic for me to think and believe here that they break your belief system, preventing you from entering into your faith, leaving you without hope. Okay, so here you've got your god. Here's a god. This is the Greek god Hermes. This is Adidas. Then you have Puma. Puma is a Mayan god. Okay, that's the jaguar right here, the jaguar. All right, and then I believe this is root box or something. I don't know. Okay, and here we have that right here. So listen to this. And through covetousness shall they, with foreign words, make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of long time lingereth not, and their damnation slumbereth not. 2 Peter 2:3. So if you want to go to this page here, you just click and then it'll go straight to the information where I received it, okay? Now here it says, Nike did not take long to pay tribute to the goddess from whom it derives its name. It has been celebrating her for some time, but this time the company decided to praise her and launch a special edition with its famous Air Force One logo, through slightly modified in honor of the Greek goddess of Victoria. Again, companies are referred to as people, and these people are worshiping gods and goddesses. Now here, I'm hoping that you see this. Okay, I've got these crosses here, and I just wanted to show you over here. This is a Greek cross, and this is the cross that he wears on his head here. It's the same one. And it's this cross that has been especially used by the Eastern Orthodox Church and early Christianity. It was also used by the Egyptians. However, they used it in clothing or in jewelry. I see him wearing this one a lot. The Greek cross, the Greek goddess. V for victory. Vlad. glasses. Okay. By the multitude of thy merchandise, thou have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore, I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain, out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Now there's a few things that I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but in 1936, okay, they were going after the Jews. And in 1972, they again targeted the Jews. Again, this is blood, a certain blood. And in 2008, it was Darfur that again there was a genocide, and China and everybody believed and had proof that they had their hand in this. So when we're looking at this is a wide scope, a worldly scope of blood sacrifice over games, over whatever, right? Jonathan, where is that? Oh, I'm going to do that one later. Sorry, I went messed up there. Okay. Anyway, here's something that I put out, and I want people to be very much aware of, and I think it should be explained. I think it's serious enough to be explained. But this is something that's sitting right over his shoulder, Jonathan Kleck, and it looks like iron wings and a cannon, and what looks to be a shrunken head with red hair, which would represent Edom. And here I would believe it would be the iron bird, and the cannon's right here, and then again. So, I mean, take a look at that and look into it for yourselves. Don't just take my word for it, or, just really do a little search. Just a little scratch. That's all it takes.
Guys, I am here to tell you, on the word of the Lord right now, the Holy Spirit is moving me. I am literally overwhelmed this very moment with the Holy Spirit. I will tell you, on the authority of the God Himself, when 2012 gets here, the beast and the incubation period for this monster will have reached fruition.
Okay, so he is telling you that this is the spirit, and he has the authority, and okay. Well, when I had seen this, and I caught this right away too, I really did. It was the Genesis 3:15, and it was Daniel, and I can't remember. I'm not looking at it closely right now, but I know I remembered, Genesis 3:15, and when I think of this now, and it's just amazing to me, But when I'm looking at this, it's like when Karen confronted Jonathan. And Jonathan, I felt, got insulted, but I believe there was more than one that was insulted that day when she yelled at him and said it was God that healed her. This is not a woman's intuition, and this is not this is what God gave women. He gave us that wall with the serpent, with the evil. Enmity. I can't pronounce it right now. I'm tired. Okay? So that's where that 3:15, and it really goes to Karen right now. I can't wait to explain everything about this, but yeah. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. And I'm going to go and I'm going to show you something. This is a video that I did 2 years ago. And I'm amazed at what we're talking about today, and I'm right back here with this video. It was really surprising. Now, remember I was talking about Jagar, right? Well, I talk about it's where I first saw it, you know. So when you're trying to pull a stronghold, you're trying to pull that down, you've got to find out where it began first. You've got to, where did I first hear it? Where did I first, you know, if it's a smell, then it's a smell. If it's a color, if it's, you know, where did I first feel this? You know, and then we can go back and we can understand what happened and we can pluck it, you know, and we can let it go, and then that, it just falls away. Anyway, this is where I first heard the word Jagar. So when I'm reading this about Jagar, it's about, it said something about it had the aura of death around it and it was not touched. That Jagar was not touched by the calamity. Well, I started looking for anything about this. I couldn't find anything. But I did look up the Jagar, and this is what I found, what I was showing you earlier. But this is where I first found it, and it was, again, it was Jonathan Clegg. But it wasn't Jonathan Clegg that put out this kind of information where I'm reading about Jagar. This was Dave that did this. So then after, in the video here where Jonathan thanks Dave for putting this together, okay, where they're talking about the plague and Celine Dion's clothing line, he calls them another race of beings, aka another race of beings. So I'm just going to play this out a little bit, but like I said, this is connecting again with China, but without saying anything. Again, this is how the Spirit is moving. The Spirit of Dave and Jonathan, because like I say, this, hold on, I'm just...
Plague, the black flag, the sign of the Black Death, right on the kid,
Veil of evil.
aka new race of beings.
Right?
Black plague, the black flag, the sign of the Black Death, right on the kid,
Veil of evil.
aka new race of beings.
And veil of evil.
aka new race of beings.
And
Thank you, Dave, for helping stitch together that video. That's awesome. Good job. That's what's up. Black plague, the black flag, the sign of the Black Death, right on the kid,
veil of evil.
aka new race of beings.
2018.
Thank you, Dave, for helping stitch together that video. That's awesome. Good job.
Okay, so here we have Celine Dion's clothing line, right? And there we have the black flag, the plague, and this is what Jonathan Clegg is talking about right here. So let me just read what this says to you. Okay, it says here, I'm not sure what he was reading, but it says black flag of plague. The entire camp has the aura of death around it, and only the forces of the house of Jagar seem unaffected by the calamity. Well, I read that thinking, well, it's Jagar. Why would they not be a part of, affected by this? So that sent me straight to, again, to, well, I didn't hear about Jagar then, but yeah. Okay. Because I heard later, this is the first I've heard. Or is that just, yeah, this is the first I heard about Jagar. So there you got it there. What does he actually say?
Black plague, the black flag, the sign of the Black Death, right on the kid.
Veil of evil. Doesn't even read that out, eh? Okay. So now I'm going to play this out here, okay? And that phone, I'm sorry, but nobody picked up. All right, so here we go. Sorry.
There's Johnny graduating. See Frankfurt right over my shoulder. That's my graduation in Germany. Just so you know, I'm telling you the truth.
So I'm asking myself, why is he telling us that he's from Frankfurt and he graduated from grad school, and and he started to let us know slowly that he was raised and he traveled the European countries and he knows different languages and that sort of thing. And so I was wondering, why was he bringing this forward at that time? And so anyway, I'm curious about Germany and Berlin, and I was really close to wanting to understand the Nuremberg trials and what happened. And anyway, I had my own interest in what happened in those days. And so I go down and I'm just breezing down here, and I come to this FC football. FC Frankfurt is the town's local football team. And why I would have stopped there, I don't know why, but it did. I just stopped. And so I pushed myself and I read right underneath what it had said. And I knew at that point why I stopped. And it said here, in March 2008, the Jewish community of Frankfurt celebrated its first Torah dedication since the Holocaust. The procession of the new Torah scroll began from the spot where the town's Frankfurt synagogue stood prior to World War II, 500 meters from Germany's current border with Poland. Well, for me, that was striking because I was just finishing up with the Beijing 2008 Olympics and what I was seeing. And it was a scroll. It started off with them making a new scroll. And it was all about them. It was just absolutely fun. It was amazing. It really was. And so I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, well, isn't that something? Because when I was watching the Olympics in 2008, it was really referring back to Schindler's List. They took a piece of Schindler's List and they had a little girl in a red dress singing and opening up the ceremonies, and with the military in front of her. And right away, I thought of the little girl with the red coat in the Holocaust. So I'm thinking to myself, well, and then they did the salute, to the flags, and I thought, what's going on here? It was only the children that were saluting, like the Holocaust salute there, the Hitler salute. So again, I'm looking at all of this, and then I see this here and what's happening here in Frankfurt, Berlin. And I'm looking, and they're opening up the scroll for the first time, and they're opening up a new one here in 2008, just months apart. And the whole theme is, it starts off in Schindler's List, the Holocaust. Okay, lost my train of thought there for a moment. Okay, so I'm looking at this FC football, and all of a sudden it just disappears. I go back and I go to show something to somebody, and I come back here and it's gone. So I'm thinking, well, what's that mean, FC football? Why would that be gone right now? So did I stumble onto something? So then I started to look into it, and I found this here. Now this Vorts, that's Vorwärts. It's I believe it means forward. Okay, and all I'm really going to want to say here is that it explains the clubs, okay, and the association and what's going on about the clubs and the teams. And here it says the name Vorwärts was used in the East Germany by those clubs associated with the armed forces, paramilitary organizations, and police. Well, when I read this, the first thing that I thought of is when Jonathan Kleck started talking about the police force and how he was surrounded and he felt that he was the alien in their world. And this is what happened at Travis Park. Well, this plays a big part, and I will be coming back to this, but this is where this club comes in, okay? The FC football club, okay? Just to explain that a little bit here. Okay, now just before I move away from all of this here, now the Jagar report. I thought this was interesting for a few reasons, but I'll come back to this. I just want to read this out. So here it says the Jagar report. The document was retrieved from the archives of Shamish, the Jewish Internet Consortium. The comments inside the square brackets were written by Daniel Kern from the Shamish archives. The Jagar report was written by a commander of one of the, I cannot pronounce that, special task force, which were in charge of liquidating Jews, communist leaders, patriots, and others in the Soviet Union. To understand the magnitude of the massacre, note that total number of victims, 137,346. This is for one in a 5-month period in one area. 137,346. This report reflects very clearly on the plan to kill all the Jews except those which were needed for working purposes. Those were, as the report notes, only to be sterilized. Jagar goes on to state that if, despite sterilization, a Jewish becomes pregnant, she would be liquidated. These are many documents about this massacre in the Soviet Union, but the Jagar report is one of the most chilling, detailed of them. And then it goes on about who Jagar is and talks about the mass killing in Nazi-occupied USSR, November 1941. Okay, I'm going to move away for this, but we'll be coming back. I'll be going back and forth, okay? So, here we go. Okay, I'm just going to read this off here and then we'll continue, okay? So here we have Numbers 12:6, and he said, "Hear my words, if there be a prophet among you, I, the Lord, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream." And right now, it's the dream that is actually opened up the vision in order for me to understand it. For the days shall come upon thee, that thy enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee on every side, and shall lay thee in even with the ground, and thy children within thee. And they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation. And he went into the temple and began to cast out them that sold therein, and them that bought. Now what this is doing is it's showing us what's happening here in Ottawa. And this is looking into the valley from west to east, looking down into the valley. And it was lawlessness, and it was lawlessness within the law. This was all shown to me in the dream. So this to me would be prophecy being fulfilled. Thank you, Jesus. Palisade, Luke 19:43. Judge also will I lay in the to the line, and righteousness to the plummet, and the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the waters shall overflow the hiding place. And I believe this is exactly what happened here with Karen and Kathy. Okay, this is exactly what happened. And they shall teach my people the difference between the holy and the profane, and cause them to discern between the unclean and the clean. If we receive the witness of men, the witness of God is greater. For this is the witness of God which he hath testified of his Son. He that believeth on the Son of God had the witness in himself. He that believeth not God hath made him a liar, because he believeth not the record that God gave of his Son. Which things also we speak, not in the words which man's wisdom teacheth, but which the Holy Ghost teacheth, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. Like again, I couldn't have matched that up any better with this thing that I had taken the picture. This I took in 2016. And the picture of Google was 2020. Okay. So here, what I did is I just put a little bit of a collage here of how things went. And the picture in the background is just a car going down a mountain looking off to the left side into the valley. Very similar to my vision, or, to the vision here with the Google. Okay. So again, when I saw the vision, I knew, and I wasn't surprised. I didn't sit there and go, well, how did they know my vision? Okay, I didn't do that. I knew that I had given my testimony a few times in my videos, so anybody could have heard that and did whatever they wanted with that testimony. But this here was very surprising to me because of the detail and everything within the picture. And here's the picture right here, okay? And with me, I look at it as where I saw it first. As I was saying earlier, it's where we see it first. And here, where I saw this, was when I was 12 years old in a vision given to me by Jesus, from Jesus, okay? Now, Jesus came to me and from behind and in my ear had said to me, do you know that you have a Father in heaven? And then once we had talked and I had known this, that's when I received the 3 visions. So this is where I saw it first. So now we look at the Google picture with Jonathan Kleck here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this out for you, and this is again where Jonathan Kleck hears it first, okay? And he explains it in his own words, what he believes is going on and what this means to him, this picture. Okay, again, you've got the so-called mouse, which now I know is a frog, a winking frog. Okay, so let's just hear him out.
If you look very closely, you'll see the pyramid right here with its reflection.
I don't see it.
You'll see the sunrise. Don't forget, and male. The male pronucleus. This represents the garden, where it's the seed of the serpent and then the seed of Adam. So you have 2 different seeds with Eve. That's what this circle represents. Now, if you're paying attention, you'll see the horizon right here. See the horizon? Now, the horizon right here, if you look very closely, you'll see the pyramid right here with its reflection.
I don't see it.
You'll see the sunrise.
Don't forget, it's 2020. This year is 2020. Right here, okay, let me show you something like Twin Cities. You see the city over here? You see this building with the angle right here? Look over here. It's the same thing, but it's dark. One's dark, one's light. Here's the sunrise coming up, just like the Statue of Liberty. The two-in-one system represented by this head right here of this that's watching the sunrise. That's the system. The two-in-one. That's the seed of the serpent. That's Adam impregnating Eve. Now watch. You see right here? This is supposed to be the horizon. Wrong. That is a palisade. That is a hypodermic needle. And this sailboat that's allegedly right here on the water, that is the snake going through it into the system. And right over here is, you can pick the tip of the spear or the sword. I would go with sword.
Okay, so this is their truth. Okay? Now, he wasn't completely wrong here in what he was talking about. I don't believe, anyway. Because when we're looking from west to east, we're looking into the valley, we're looking at Ottawa, Canada. And this is where they make the laws and set them in. This is